Hey gang, your old buddy Clay here, Mountain Music Exchange, and I know it's been a minute since I've been out, but I cannot be held down by conventional weapons. So, with that being said, good news today, gang. Rosewood is back in the Fender standard line. Alright gang, so today we're going to talk about the Fender Player II series Strats and Teles. Now you can also get other guitars in that lineup. You can get Jaguar, you can get a Jazzmaster. They're all extremely cool. I love the specs on these. They really, we'll get into it a little bit more later, but they're enhanced a little bit, and there's really not much of a price difference between this and the Player I series. Without further ado, let's get into it, gang. These are just cool guitars. Check that out. You've got vintage style tuners, Fender classic gear tuners, and that's going to be on the Strats and the Teles, which we'll talk about Strats later. I've got some Strats here to talk about as well. You can get a bunch of different really cool color options, and not only is Rosewood back, but ash bodies are back as well in the transparent finishes like the cherry or like the sunburst, like the Sienna sunburst style finish on that, and they're very, very cool all the way around. First thing you'll notice is that Rosewood fingerboard capped with 22 frets on a modern C profile with a satin finish. Now, I know the others, like the Player I series, had satin finish necks before, but these really feel a lot closer, to me, right now anyway, to like that sort of supernatural finish that you get on those American Pro 2s. They just feel really, really slick. You can just run your hands up and down these like crazy, like fire, and it's just like frictionless almost. It feels great. Another cool thing I noticed here, and I noticed it on the spec sheet too, the fingerboard now, and I'll try my best to get you a shot of this, but I can't guarantee it's gonna work. The fingerboards now are rolled on the edges like you would have seen, or you still will see, in the American series Fender guitars. So they're a lot more comfortable. They feel a little bit played in all the right ways, and you don't feel those edges as you're running your hands up and down the neck and fretboard. It's very, very rounded and soft on the edges. That's for the Strats, the Teles as well. What I'm looking at here is a Tele in Arctic white, and I love white Fenders with Rosewood fretboards. It probably goes back to me being crazy for a long period of time about Richie Blackmore, and that was sort of his sort of go-to machine for a while. But it's just a cool look. This looks great with the black pickguard. You also will get Player Series pickups with these. The single coils are Alnico 5s, which I think is sort of the perfect do-it-all magnet for a pickup. If you're looking to sort of soften your sound, going for clarity, they'll do that really well, but they'll also kind of sound raw and gritty. If you want to add some gain to that mix or some overdrive to that mix, they will do that very, very well. So these are really just cool guitars. The Tele here is $799. That also applies to any of the sort of standard line Stratocasters as well. Here is a Stratocaster from the new line in a new color. It looks sort of like the buttercream from the original line of Player Series guitars, but this one is called, bear with me, Hialeah Yellow? Hialeah Yellow. If I'm saying that wrong on account of being uncultured swine, please let me know in the comments below. And at this point, also if I'm saying it right, let me know in the comments below so I can keep saying it the right way at least. But yeah, cool finishes on these. I wish I had available in this video one of the ash body transparent finishes. I really would like to show you guys that. I think it would be great to sort of compare and contrast, especially to take a look at the grain. The ash body is chambered, so it's not quite as heavy as you might expect an ash-bodied guitar to be. Of course, with the Stratocasters, you're still getting that 70th anniversary logo on the back of the headstock there, and again, you can notice those classic gear vintage style tuners. So are sort of borrowed from like the vintage-inspired Ventera line, but they look really good. They hold tune really well. They work well with the tremolo. On a tremolo on this one, by the way, you're getting a 2-point tremolo here. You're also going to get bent steel saddles And it's sort of, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, this is pretty much spec'd out exactly like, let's turn the clock back about 12 years, no, 13 years now, and we'll say 2010-ish era. These are sort of spec'd out like the pre-Fat 50s era American standards, and I pretty much mean that in about every way. The fretboard edges are rolled here, and they feel a little more rolled, and it might be because of the maple, I'm not sure, but they do feel a little rounder here, and you can actually sort of see it a little better. You also get that sort of gloss fretboard on the maple models, and that adds a little snap and just a cool look as well. But this is sort of that spec from that era of Fender American Stratocaster. Telecaster too, really. You get the rolled fingerboard edges, you get sort of the off-white coloring for like your other plastic work that's not your pick guard, so that it's sort of offset against it. So it gives it a little extra depth visually, plus it's got sort of this sort of vintage-esque look to it, which I like a lot as well. And, you know, you just get pretty much everything but the tuners specs this thing out to be just like an American standard guitar. Pre-Fat 50, sort of in that 2010-ish era, give or take. And again, this is going to be equipped with Player Series Alnico 5 single coils. So you can still do that same thing I was talking about earlier. You can clean it up, you can get raw. With the right sort of overdrive or the right clean amp, this will sound just as clean Fender or just as gnarly experimental Fender as you could possibly want it to. This is really, really a lot of guitar. And as guitar prices, we've seen them going crazier and crazier, right? These go up about 50 bucks from what we saw the outgoing Player Series guitars sit at. So these are right at 800 bucks. I think in this day and age, you get a heck of a lot of Fender guitar for your money with these guitars. I'm glad they brought the Rosewood back, for one thing. I'm also glad they rolled the fingerboard edges. It does feel a little more premium. And we've also got this cool coral red Strat here. I love that Fender still keeps doing crazy, just solid, you know, classic car-esque paint colors. It's just a very Fender thing. I'm more so a sucker for a solid color Fender, always have been, than a transparent. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my head doesn't try to pick apart how many pieces of wood are here and pick apart the grain or how it looks compared to other grains. Like, you know, it's just a cool, solid color like a classic car. You don't worry about it. It just looks good, and that's all there is to it. Now, this is the HSS model. This one's got two Alnico 5 single coils in the neck and middle positions, and also in your bridge position here, you've got an Alnico 2 magnet humbucker. It's got a really good sort of, the highs are accentuated the way you want them to be. The lows aren't mushy or flubby. It's sort of vintage humbucker type sound to it. And of course, plastics are still offset. The Rosewood still looks great. And you know, even though visually I can see the difference in the rolled edges on like the maple and the Rosewood models, I can see that the maple looks to be rolled a little more. I don't feel that really between the two of these. Same neck shape on these as well. That's still going to be that modern C profile. Same sort of like supernatural-ish finish here. They just call it satin, but it feels very, very much like that quick lightning fast neck finish that you really kind of want in any guitar, but especially in something that you might be doing a lot of lead work on and that sort of thing, or a lot of quick chord changes. These run, the humbucker models run $829. Now, if you grab one of the ash-bodied models, the chambered ash transparent finish models, there's going to be a little bit of a premium for that ash. There was a stretch where Fender had pretty much sworn off using ash, so I'm hoping that there is a sustainable, renewable source that they have managed to procure. That's going to put you in that sort of $899 territory. But again, you're getting an ash-bodied transparent finish. If that is your thing, they do it incredibly well. I really, really liked the old Sienna Sunburst guitars. I always thought those looked beautiful. Really, these are just great guitars for the money. I really, really like Rosewood being back. 22 frets on this one, same as the old Player series, but one more than the old Standard series, which was a 21 fret model. Maple neck, alder body, all the right parts, all the things you'd expect from Fender right here in a very, very cool package. But how does it sound? Does any of this matter if it doesn't sound like you want it to sound? So what we're going to do is we're going to run this through the Line 6 Helix, and we're going to use mostly the US Princess amp on there. I like to use that amp a lot because you can sort of dial it a little easier, I think, than you can like a twin or even a deluxe. A little easier, sort of, where everything's clean, but then you're just on the clean side of edge of breakup. Now, what I mean by that is if you've got a really low output set of pickups, those will shine through and you'll be able to understand the clarity. And if you keep the same settings, and let's say you've got a really clean neck, a really clean middle, and you want to go to the bridge, then you can kick down to the bridge, and then if that bridge is more powerful, whether it's a single coil or a humbucker like this model I'm holding here in coral red, you can sort of tell how much extra power that it has because it pushes, you know, the signal a little harder, and you'll hear that start to break up. And you've probably seen that in some other videos, even though I didn't explain it in those. You'll be able to sort of see that, or hear that rather, in those videos, and hopefully in this one too. You'll be able to distinguish how much extra power or how much extra oomph a bridge might have compared to like a neck or middle. And I'll probably do a little sound run with these with overdrive. I'm probably not going to go through all three pickups on this specific model because I'm going to go through them on this model. Then I'm just going to give you mostly just an idea of what this pickup sounds like here, since it's really the only tonal difference between the two guitars. So with that being said, gang, and without further ado, let's plug them up and get going. Okay, gang, one thing I forgot to mention before we started playing, by the way, these are indeed 9.5-inch radius fretboards on all of these new Fender Player II series guitars. So they're going to have that sort of more modern feel, but still a little more classic than some other guitar brands. It's not going to be that 7.25-inch super round, almost violin-ish type fingerboard, although quite frankly, with the right setup, you can get pretty much the right action and the right sort of level of bend that you want to get without choking out on either. But I really like the feel of the 9.5-inch fretboard. I think it feels great. I just think overall these guitars are really just cool all the way around. Again, super glad Fender brought back the Rosewood. Tell us what you think in the comments below. What do you think about everything here? The Rosewood, the price, the specs and features. What was your favorite sound? What was your least favorite sound? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to check us out on mountainmusicexchange.com. You can check out that new arrival section. You're going to see these guitars as well as any other new and used gear that comes in. And if it is on the website, that means we do have it in stock. So again, check that out at mountainmusicexchange.com. Check out Haas's short videos here on the channel as well as on TikTok. Check us out on Facebook and on Instagram, gang. I'm Clay, you rock, and wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make it loud. See you, gang.